Good evening, families. So today's video is going to be over the different strategies you might see your child using for addition. And then I think I'm going to make a separate video for subtraction so this one doesn't get too long. But in this video, I'm going to show you an HTO table, which is the way they learned last year. I'm going to show you expanded form. I'm going to show you splitting. I'm going to show you using a number line, and I'm going to show you using standard algorithm. For each one of these, I'm going to do, when I show it to you, I'm going to show you one easy problem going through all five, one tougher problem going through all five, and then I'm going to show you, one more. But I think I'm going to do an easy one, a hard one, and then we're going to do it together. An easy one, a hard one, we'll do it together. And I'll do that for all three of them instead of making you skip through the video for each one. Sorry. But anyways, so different strategies for addition. So first, we're going to do an HTO table. All right. And so the first equation that we're going to do, and I'm going to do the same equations for the first two problems of each one, if that makes sense. So this first one that we're going to do, if my paper will stay up there without sliding, okay. The first one that we're going to do is going to be 343 minus 212. All right, oops, sorry. All right, so start off by making our HTO table. And you'll also see I added some anchor charts to the folders. And so those will give you those steps on how to make an HTO table and how to use them efficiently with your kiddo. So starting out, we're going to put our larger number on the chart. So I'm supposed to be doing addition. That's funny. There you go. We did subtraction today in class. So anyways, sorry, it's late. 343. So right now we're using our base 10 blocks like we referred to in our last video, all right? So you'll see these big squares as hundreds, these as tens, and these as ones. Give me 1 second and I'll talk to you about why. Sorry. So because we've got these that we use in class, all right? This is a 1 unit. This is a 10 because it's got 10 of those on there. This is 100 because there's 10 of these 10s on there. All right, they used these quite a bit last year in 2nd grade, and they are available in my classroom if they need them. However, most students don't, but they are available if they do. So that's why that number looks like that. The second thing we do is we're going to put our other number on the chart. So 212. I always make it a point to write them separate from each other. That way you don't get mixed up when you're trying to count them up, or when, as you're doing it and you lose your place. It's very clear and defined that I've got 343 up here at the top and 212 at the bottom. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to count them up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or when they count it, they're supposed to go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the answer to this question was 555. Okay? Now I'm going to show you a tougher one, which is not the way I planned this. Sorry. So another one using an HTO table. This tougher equation is going to be 272 4 plus 263. Okay. The reason I call this one tougher is because we're going to have to do some regrouping or carrying of some of our numbers. And so on this one, we're only going to have to regroup one time. But on the next one we do on our own, well, I'll probably have you regroup one time. But either way, so again, draw our HTO table. Put both of our numbers on the chart. So 274. I also make it a point to always tell them to make their dots a nice round circle and not just a dot, because if they do that when they're counting them up, they might accidentally make another dot, and now they're having trouble trying to figure out how many dots they did. So now again, 263. Now we're going to count them up. So I've got 7. Here I've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we can even kind of write this 13 down here. Now, there's more than 10. So when we have more than 10, we have to regroup 10 of our 10s into a 100, because 10 tens makes a 100. We can't have 2 digits in this same 10 place value. So we've got, they can pick any 10 they want to regroup. If they want to pick these 7 and then these 3, if they want to pick 5 and 5, whatever works, as long as they understand what they're doing. Regrouped it. Now, when we regroup that, it's going to make a new 100, because we've just built a 100 using those 10 tens. Which again, thinking back to the blocks, talking about if we've got 10 of these guys, we know that 10 of them will build into a 100. So that's why we just did that right there. Okay? And now we've got 1, 2, 3 left, which checks out because we just took 10 of them away. So now we have 3 left, and now counting up what we have over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the answer to this question was 537. Now, you're going to try one. If you're doing this strategy with your kiddo, you're going to try one more with me. You can pause the video and then press play to, check your answer after. So this one is going to be 327 plus 248. All right? So you can go ahead and pause the video and then check it with me in a second. So again, we're going to make our HTO table. I'm going to put 300 on the chart, 27. Now I'm going to put 248 on the chart, 248. Another thing I like to do is make my whatever things I'm doing, 1s or 10s, in groups of 5, just because it helps me count how many there are, because that's 5 and 2, so that's 7, that's 5 and 3, that's 8. Just a nice simple strategy to help me out. All right, so now I'm going to regroup, because I have over here I've got 15. So I need to regroup because it's more than 10. So I've got 7, 8, 9, 10. Regroup that. That's going to come over. And we just built a 10. What I have left is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that checks out. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right here. And I've got 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 right there. So our answer should have been 575. All right? So now, we're going to do the same first and second one with our other strategies. And then the third one will probably be different in case you watch the whole video, because I don't want you to just know what the answer is supposed to be. So the next one's going to be expanded form. Sorry. So we know our first equation we're going to be doing is 343 plus 212. So when we're doing expanded form, you're going to write out the different parts we've got. So we've got 300, 40, and 3. Over here, we've got 200, 10, and 2. And then we're adding 300 plus 200 equals 500. 40 plus 10 equals 50. 3 plus 2 equals 5. 500 plus 50 plus 5 equals 555. Okay? So that's the first one using expanded form. Now we're going to talk about that second equation that we did earlier. And so that one is a little bit tougher. It's 274 plus 263. So again, we have 274, and then we have 263. Adding them all together, 200 plus 200 equals 400. 70 plus 60 equals 130. 4 plus 3 equals 7. Now, putting that together, 400 plus 130 is 530, plus 7 is 537. All right. And now, showing you that last one, that's going to be a little bit tougher that you're going to do. Well, it's not going to be tougher. It's going to be about the same difficulty. But this is that chance for you to pause, try it, and then unpause it to see if we got the same answer. So this one's going to be, let's do 348. I'm getting way too close to my other one. Plus 254. So now is your time to pause it and then give it a try on your own. So we've got 348, and then we've got 254. So 300 and 200, 500. 40 and 50, 90. Ooh, I made this one harder than I wanted to. Sorry. And then 8 plus 4 is 12. So, I mean, it's not crazy difficult, but so 500 plus 90, 590, and then adding 12 onto that, we're going to go over that 600, and we're going to go to 602. And then I'm sorry, I've been doing these parts in my head, like combining this part, but I mean, if you need to put it together and go 500 plus 90 equals 590, and then add 12 onto that to get your 602, that's okay as well. All right, so that is expanded form. I apologize if I'm going fast. Now we're going to talk about splitting. So splitting is essentially kind of like the same thing, but you're able to split things differently based on what you see, I guess, and how they're able to split things differently based on how their brain works and how they see it, however they want to make it easier for themselves. So again, that first equation that we're going to do is 343 plus 212. And so some kiddos might see it as 343 and 212. They might even see 310 and 2, because honestly, I think that's kind of easier in my head. So I'm going to change that actually, sorry. But I just want you to, like, that's the joy of doing it this way, is that you can change it up in your head a little bit. So I'm going to change this one to 210 and 2. Hopefully you can still see that and where I got that from. And so now we're going to combine. And so I can combine these two right here, and I'm going to have 510. And then I'm going to combine these two and get 45. So now I can combine that together again, and I have 555. Most students aren't solving like this, but if your kiddo is, this is how you can support them in that learning. All right, so let's do our second one. That's going to have some regrouping with it. So 274 plus 263 equals. All right, so when I'm doing this one, I see, honestly, what I see is probably not what your kiddo may see, but let's do 270. I really want to do 74, but that's not realistic. Let's do 300 and let's do 200, and then let's keep it as 70. And I'm going to add one more line and do 4, which is basically doing it like expanded form. But, you know, it's whatever your kiddo saw. Maybe this time I want to keep it as 260 and 3. So the joy about splitting is that they can keep splitting them down until it's as easy as they want it to be. So right now, I'm going to combine my 200 and my 260, and I'm going to get 460. And then what I'm going to do actually is split my 70 even further into 40 and 30. That way I can combine my 460 with my 40 to get 500. But the thing about splitting is you can't forget the things you haven't done yet. Like we haven't combined this part, we haven't combined that 4, we haven't combined that 30, and we haven't combined that 3 yet. But those are all things that I feel confident that we could combine at the same time, but let's not, and let's say we just did it like this. So we're gonna add our 30 on, and so now we've got 530. And then let's go ahead and combine that 4 and that 3 to get 7 and put it on there to get 537, okay? Probably not your favorite way of the 3 that I've done so far, and that's okay. That's what this is all about, is finding a strategy that works best for your kiddo. All right, so this last one that we're gonna do, I'm actually gonna do one that's gonna make you enjoy splitting. So let's do 275 plus 150. So when I see this, I can see 200, oh, sorry, pause, pause. Okay, 275. And then over here, I'm actually gonna split it. I'll split it once and then I'll split it again so you can see where I did it. 150, but I'm going to split that 50 into 25 and 25. Because, and you really could have split it into 125 and 25, but, you know, tomato, tomato. So let's combine our 100 and 200 to get 300. Let's combine our 75 and 25 to get 100. And then let's not forget about our 25 guy that we didn't touch yet. And now you can just put all those together and have 300 plus 100, which was that 400, and then 25 to get 425. All right. Again, it doesn't have to be your favorite strategy, but if your kiddo does it, I want you to understand how they're doing it. All right. Moving on to number lines. So, number lines. Probably not your kiddo's favorite way either. I kind of only have one kid doing it this way, and it's because he'd rather not show his work. So, this is a good way if your kiddo's got a lot of mental math strategies. This is going to be probably their way. Sorry, I'm a little crooked. I don't know how long it's been like that. Sorry. Anyways, so with the number line, we use an open number line. We start with our bigger number. And then what we do is we add on by the place values. So let's add on 200. So you can either show that with one big jump or with two medium jumps, because what many of our kiddos are going to need to do is to do these two jumps. And so that's going to be 100. That's going to be 100 just because they just need that step. So adding 100 onto this is going to be 443. Adding another 100 on is going to make it 543. Now we're going to add 10 on to make it 553. And then we're going to add 2. Again, it can be 2 little jumps. It can be 1 jump, but both of those are 1. And we're going to end up at 555. Okay. All right, now let's do the second one. So this one's going to be 274 plus 263. So again, starting with our larger number, 274. I'm going to jump. I don't know who that is. So we're going to add on 200. 100, 200. So we went to 374, then 474. Then we need to add on 60. So 2 ways you can do this. The way that we like to do it with this, instead of trying to just drop 60 on there, you can change it into 2 jumps of 30. And that way you can go to 504 and then 534. And not have to try and hurt yourself trying to add 60 onto that. And then we're going to add our final 3. Again, it can be 3 little jumps. It can be 1 jump. That's just worth 3. And we're at 537. All right, and then the last one. So let's do, let's do 348 plus 227. All right, so pause it right here. All right, so number line, start with our larger number, 348. So with this one, this is one that if you want to, you can keep jumping. Oh, yeah, let's just keep doing it the way we're doing it. So 100, 200. It's important to make sure you're writing those values at the top that you're jumping. So 448, 548. Now we're going to add 20. If you want to make it one jump worth 20, you can. If you want to make it two jumps of 10. And then we're at 558 and 568. Now, for me, instead of trying to add 7 onto that, which we know would be 15, like jumping it up to the next 15, because we were at 8, I'm going to jump it up 2 to go to 570, and then jump it up that remaining 5. All right. So there you go with that one. Now, the dreaded standard algorithm, which again, if your kiddo does this, you can help them continue, but I am not allowed to just teach this method. If your kiddo's not doing this method, I ask that you please not try to make them do it this way, because they're going to learn this in 4th grade, but we're specifically not allowed to teach it per state of Texas curriculum. I'm not allowed to teach them this until they get to 4th grade. So, but, you know, standard algorithm, which, I mean, I don't really know if I needed to show this, because obviously you can all do this. But, you know, 3 plus 2, 5, 4 plus 1, 5, 3 plus 2, 5. I mean, of course, it's the easy, like, it's the fastest way, but that's not the point. The point is that we want them to understand, especially when we get to this borrowing and carrying, why they need to move a 1, why when they have 10 over here, they can just move a 1 over. And so I'll kind of explain that as I'm doing this one. But I mean, yeah, we know that's 7, but it's like when we get down here and they want to write 13, and then they want to come over here and just write 4. But it's about, we need to get them to understand why we're going to take that 1 and bring it all the way up here. And then get 5 to get 537. Because we don't want them just doing it, but we want them to understand that this was really 130 right here, because it was 70 plus 60. And so that 100 can come on up here. And so that's how it ties back to the HTO table way of regrouping that and bringing it over, because they're starting to grasp that concept of, okay, it's more than 10. I can take that 1 and bring it on over here. I can take those 10 tens and bring them over to that hundreds place. So that's why we specifically really want to get them to understand why we're doing it the way we're doing it, instead of just telling them you carry a 10 because that's what you're supposed to do. Not that that's what you're saying, but that's why we want to. I don't really think I need to do a standard algorithm. But yes, that is the different ways that we solve addition problems. Thank you.